Well, you got a theme song now for Matt Zimmerman, obviously. Purple Haze will be that theme song anytime he comes on the show. And the one and only color commentator, former Razorback assistant men's basketball coach and co-host of the Razorback Daily is joining us here on Halftime. Zim, how you doing today? What do you think of your theme song?
Oh, it's a great theme song. Love it. I appreciate that. Oh, it's a beautiful day. I'm outside. I'm just leaving the Fayetteville Public Library, and we had your great sport, Swatters Club, today. We had a huge turnout. Phil, I'm going to send you a picture of the turnout.
Oh.
And we had a lot of folks, and Coach Van Horn did a great job talking to everybody, and he loves it. And, you know, he went about 50 minutes, and he gave some great info to the folks that were there. So, man, he talks about the schedule. He breaks down last year, how it ended. He gets into each player on the roster. He gives a real good breakdown.
Zim, you know, one of the things I love about Dave Van Horn has nothing to do with him as a baseball coach. So when I go to some of the scrimmages or practices, he wants to talk about the other teams on campus. He'll ask me about women's basketball. He was fired up about that win over Kentucky, just like any Razorback will be. So, you know, that was a heck of a lot of fun to watch that on Saturday, Zim. And I know for you and Chuck, it just had to be amazing to call it, especially at the end where it was obvious Arkansas was going to win and the Kentucky fans are just streaming for the exits.
Oh, it was incredible seeing so many folks leave. You were in one of two categories there for that game. You either bailed out and left, which was, you know, they had 21,000 there. There was probably, 7,000, 8,000 of them bailed out. And the rest of them just stayed the whole time. They just sat there, and there was a stretch with a minute or two left. Nobody was leaving. So I think everyone made the decision. Usually I'm very worried about every aspect, just what can go wrong. You know, you worry, especially when I was coaching, but still to this day I'm that way. But something about that game early on, you could just see with their ball handling deficiencies how well we were guarding, and we were finally shooting the ball so well that we were going to win that game. And it's funny, Kaywood sits beside me, Mike Kaywood, and there was about 6 or 7 minutes left, and he said something about being worried, blah, blah, blah. And I took the piece of paper beside me, and I never do this. And we were still on the air, so I couldn't talk to him. And I wrote down, "Start the bus." And he got so mad. And I'm old school, and I have a little Ziploc bag with pens and white out and Scotch tape and stuff in it sitting there. And he took the white out of there, and he took the piece of paper and he whited out where I said, "Start the bus." And when we went to the next commercial, he was like, "I can't believe you said that. This podcast, this is over with. They cannot beat Arkansas tonight. Kentucky is not good enough on this night to beat our guys playing so well." And it was a great win. I'm happy for the coaches and the players. Mainly, I'm happy for the Razorbacks. When you come here to work, you come here to coach, it's a Razorbacks. And it's not about you. It's about the Arkansas Razorbacks. And I know that from being here. So I was really happy for our fans and happy for our players, but definitely happy for the coaches who'd coached and put so much time into Kentucky that they got to experience that and have that kind of feeling inside.
Coach, there's nothing better than a celebrated locker room. How does this team build on this and carry this forward? I don't know if y'all have like a 24-hour rule or how it works, but now it's on to Texas. You can't really sit back and look back at the past. Hey, we went and just won our biggest win of the season. I think this and Michigan, two of the best teams you've beat this year. How do we carry this momentum to go down to Austin this Wednesday and find a way to get another victory?
Well, definitely, it starts with each player's mentality, but the coaches have to stay on them and keep them grounded here because we're very fortunate to play in this SEC. I coached in this SEC where 12-6 wouldn't get you in. I've coached in this league where 10-8 wouldn't get you in. I've been a part of staffs where 10-8. But you know what? You can go 6-12, it sounds like, and make it. This team's going to make the NCAA tournament. I never thought in a day that I would say, hey, you're going to be 2-6, and you're pretty much going to be in. But that's what's going to happen, and this team will get in. So they've got to stay very humble because they've got everything that they wanted to do going into this season they can still achieve. They can't win. They're not going to win the SEC regular season. But other than that, there's nothing that this team can't achieve and have greatness. They showed how good they can be. Kentucky's a good team. And to beat Kentucky like that says a lot about the talent of this team and what this team is capable of doing. And you said it. They've shown it against Michigan. They've shown it in some other games. They definitely showed it against Kentucky. But now you got to be more consistent, and you got to keep bringing it. And you need to go to win at Texas. Texas is good. They're not great. They got a nice team. You got to find a way to go there and beat those guys.
Well, why do you think? So they've won 2 out of 3 without Boogie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you view Boogie's? I was going to say exit. It's not exit. I don't know if he's going to come back or not. All signs, I guess, would point to him not.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Are they playing better without Boogie? That's the best question to ask in this case.
Well, you could make an argument for that. I think if Boogie plays against Georgia, we win the game. I think if Boogie played Saturday against Kentucky, we win that game, and we might have won it by more. If you have Boogie, you might have beat Oklahoma. Our worst losses, number 1, is Oklahoma at home. Number 2 is at LSU. And number 3 is the home game against Ole Miss. And so, with Boogie, we had him for the Ole Miss game, and we had him for the LSU game. But other than that, it is something you can see. I think defensively we're as good or right there even without Boogie. He would guard that ball so darn good, but now Billy's up there guarding it more. So there's not much of a drop-off defensively. I do think we rebound better if you look at the numbers since he's been out because we're playing bigger lineups. And we're just rebounding the ball better than we were. We got a bigger lineup out there. And then, so you can argue defense and rebounding you're as good or maybe a little better, but you're not better offensively to me without him. And because he could really score it, and he had such great assist to turnover numbers. But I do think these guys have pulled together even more since Boogie's gone. They're not just sitting around watching Boogie. Boogie's not dribbling a lot right now because he's not out there. And so at times he had to dribble a lot to beat people off the dribble and to set up his pull-up. But it's a whole different team without Boogie because it has to be. Your point guard playing 34 minutes was Boogie. Now it's DJ Wagner.
Coach, who if you looked around the SEC, and I know Auburn's undefeated right now, but besides Auburn, who's your top 3 teams in the SEC right now?
Yeah, number 1, Auburn. They've been so impressive, and what I've loved about them is they went and won some games without Janai Broome. It looked like he was going to be out. At one time we heard 6 weeks, then we heard a month, and he missed about 2 weeks. And they won without him. I love their team. I don't love Auburn, but I love that team that they've got, and they're tough. And we talked to Seth Greenberg today, and he was like, the 2 best teams in the country are Auburn and Duke. And so hopefully some other teams will get in that area.
Zim, you'll notice we didn't even bring up until right now.
I like Alabama, but right now, I would say Auburn number 1, and I guess you'd have to go with Alabama. And then number 3 is the Missouri Tigers, and they've been so good, and they've played so well. 0-18 last year. Dennis Gates, wow. He went and got some guys, and they're not huge NIL guys. They're paying some. They're not paying like the upper echelon of our league. They're just not. I coach there. I know people there, and they're paying, but they're not paying top 4, 6, 8 in the league. And here they sit, and they're outstanding, and they play very hard. They play with a chip on their shoulders. They play like guys that are wanting to get paid in the future. They're very hungry, and I've been so impressed with Missouri, and hopefully we can beat Alabama and beat Missouri in Bud Walton. We need to win these last 5 games at home. We've already lost too many. We've lost 3 at home. That's enough. And so, coming home Saturday, that's going to be huge. That would be a huge win to beat Alabama.
Yeah, you're right. You got to make up for that LSU loss and for the Oklahoma loss. You're exactly right, Coach. Hey, there's a big one. I mean, we all know what's going on. Super Bowl, what is it, 49, 59, Phil? It's going on. I mean, Chiefs, Eagles, Dynasty. I think the best defense. I mean, two defensive teams, Coach. I know you're a fan of sport. I know you'll be watching. Who do you got and why?
Definitely the Chiefs, and they just got the star power, and their star power is still hungry, and they seem pretty humble, and they play as a team. I love Jones. I love Chris Jones and Mahomes, Kelsey. Yeah, I think the Eagles are great, and it'll be a good game, but it'll be what it's supposed to be. it's going to be the Chiefs winning a close game by 1 or 2 or 3.
Ooh.
It's going to be one. The Chiefs always do that. They always do that, and they will do that again, and the Chiefs will win. But can we talk about Luka? It's the 3 L's. It's Luka, LeBron, and the Lakers. How about that? No offense to the Mavericks leadership, but, man, I don't know what was going on. Crazy to trade him.
Don't you put LeBron at the 4? I mean, have they already done that? I mean, he's big as Karl Malone, and then so there's not the game's not like you have a Tim Duncan or a Boogie Cousins or a Zach Randolph where they're just going to go down and get. I mean, it's such a different game now. I think LeBron James could play another 2 years if he goes to the 4 spot.
Yeah, because he don't have to handle the ball as much. He's already not handling as much as he used to, and so he's gotten off the ball a little bit. He's such a versatile guy, but Luka's got to have the ball, and the Lakers, they're not going to bring him in and just have.
It'd be like having Bobby Petrino as your coordinator at A&M, and you say, "Hey, we're going to run the offense my way."
Yeah, that's right. You kind of got to know what you're bringing in, and they made the decision to bring Luka, and you got to give him the ball. He's a very interesting player because he's a good size and he's thick. He weighs a ton. You can't move him. And I remember first seeing him with the Mavericks handling the ball, and I'm like, these athletic guards in the NBA are going to eat him up. No, it was the other way around. He ate them up. He bullied them. So teams never knew whether they should guard him with a 6'4" guy, a 6'6" guy, a 7-footer, and he has eaten up the NBA for 5 years. But 25 years old, Anthony Davis is great, but he's hurt often, 31 years old. Wow, it was just a shocking.
Hey, the Lakers went and got Kobe. They went and got Shaq, who was the best player, at the time, and then Luka. Yeah. You could say, what is he, the second best player in the NBA right now?
Yeah, you can argue anywhere from second to fifth best player in the NBA. They went and got Wilt Chamberlain. He was a tremendous player. They got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, he was the franchise player forever for the Milwaukee Bucks. Won a title with the Bucks, and the Lakers went and got him. I mean, the Lakers, they're going to get who they want, and they wanted Luka. And I would just love to know all the background about this trade, why the Mavericks felt like they needed to move him, and why they only dealt with the Lakers. Can you imagine if they'd have put that out in the open market, what they might have gotten?
That's a good point. Zim, I know you got something.
Before we go, but Phil, there was people that gave up, there was just some good players. When they got traded, it was for 4 first-round draft picks, and he was basically even up for one guy, and in a draft pick.
Who was your boy Mikal Bridges for the Knicks? They had to give up 5 first rounds for him. You're exactly right.
Yeah, and then you go with Luka Doncic, and you get Anthony Davis aging, and you get one draft pick like
probably be about the 27th pick in the draft.
Yeah, why?
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football to NBA, college basketball to NHL and UFC, BetOnline is your number one sports betting source for the new year. From every touchdown to three-pointer and hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.